When we think of the great empires of history, a few big names always come to mind. But there's one dynasty that just exploded onto the scene, reshaped the world in what feels like the blink of an eye, and yet it often gets overlooked. So today, we're diving into the absolutely incredible story of the Umayyad Caliphate.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? How does that even happen? Well, it's a story packed with raw ambition, non-stop conquest, and some seriously brilliant innovation that all kicks off with a major break from tradition.
And this map right here shows you exactly what that ambition led to. Just take a second to look at the sheer scale of it, from Spain all the way across North Africa, through the entire Middle East, and touching the borders of India. This wasn't just a kingdom, folks. This was a world-spanning empire, and they built it in less than 100 years. Just incredible.
So, how did they pull it off? Where did all this begin? Well, it all started with a huge change right at the heart of the early Islamic state, the Caliphate. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how power was handed down from one ruler to the next.
See, before the Umayyads, the leader, the caliph, was generally chosen by a council. It was more of an election, you could say. But the Umayyads came in and introduced something completely different and pretty controversial for the time, a hereditary system. Power was now going to stay in the family, passed down from father to son. This created the very first dynasty in the Islamic world.
And this is the moment that changes absolutely everything. The founder of the dynasty, Muawiyah, made a power move. He named his own son, Yazid, as the next in line. With that one decision, he basically turned the caliphate into a monarchy and locked in his family's control for the next 90 years.
Okay, so with their power base totally secure, the Umayyads started to look outward. And to make their vision a reality, they built one of the most effective military machines the world had ever seen.
They didn't just have a powerful army on land. Their real game changer was building the first major Muslim navy. This let them go toe-to-toe with the superpower of the day, the Byzantine Empire, everywhere. They swept through places like Syria and Egypt, and then just kept pushing west, conquering all of North Africa.
Now this quote, it just gives you a sense of the sheer nerve they had. In 711, an Umayyad general named Tariq ibn Sayyad sails his army from Africa to Spain. And legend says the first thing he does is order his own ships to be burned. He tells his men, "The sea is behind you, the enemy is in front of you." Talk about motivation. There was no turning back. And with that mindset, they took Spain.
But here's the thing. You can't hold an empire that massive together with just swords and ships. It's impossible. The Umayyads knew this. They weren't just warriors. They were brilliant administrators and builders who kicked off a true golden age.
And if you need one symbol of their legacy, this is it. The stunning Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. This wasn't just a beautiful building. It was a powerful statement of faith and Umayyad power, an architectural masterpiece that still takes your breath away today.
And that's really the key to understanding how they lasted so long. They knew that to really rule, you have to build something. You have to create a state, a culture, an economy that actually works. So how they do it? Their secret weapon was something called the Diwan. Now, don't worry about the word. Just think of it like a modern government ministry or department. They set up this whole sophisticated bureaucracy to run the show.
And just look how organized this system was. They had a department for everything. Land taxes, official letters, a postal service to keep this huge empire connected, a justice system. This was the nuts and bolts, the administrative engine that kept the whole thing running.
Oh, and this was an absolutely genius move. The Umayyads created the first official Islamic coins. Before them, people were using old Byzantine and Persian money. By minting their own coins, they standardized the whole economy, made trade way easier, and put a powerful symbol of their authority in literally everyone's pocket.
So while they're building up this incredible system in the West, they were also pushing east, with their sights set on the Indian subcontinent.
And the story of this eastern expansion really centers on this one person, Muhammad bin Qasim. And get this, he led the army that conquered Sindh, which is in modern-day Pakistan, when he was only 17 years old, a teenager.
Now, this campaign wasn't just about conquering for the sake of it. If you look at this map, you can see this whole region was crucial for trade. The invasion was actually triggered after pirates from Sindh attacked Arab ships. That gave the Umayyads the perfect reason they needed to march in.
But maybe the most fascinating part of this whole story is what happened after the invasion.
Instead of forcing everyone to convert, Muhammad bin Qasim adopted this policy of, well, tolerance. He declared that the local Hindus and Buddhists were protected people and let them practice their own religions. It was a really smart, pragmatic way to govern a brand new, diverse territory.
But you know, as with all the great empires in history, the Umayyad dynasty couldn't last forever. And ironically, some of the very things that helped them grow so fast also planted the seeds of their own downfall. At the very heart of their problems was this deep social divide. The Umayyads basically ran the empire with a policy of Arab supremacy. All the best government jobs, the top military posts, they all went to Arab Muslims. But if you were a non-Arab who converted to Islam, a group known as the Mawali, you were treated like a second-class citizen. This created a ton of resentment and gave their enemies something powerful to rally people around. And on top of that big problem, other cracks started to appear all over the place. The later rulers just weren't as skilled as the early ones. Many of them got caught up in a life of extreme luxury, which made them seem really out of touch. Old tribal rivalries flared up again, and all the while, rival groups, especially one called the Abbasids, were getting more and more organized.
So in the end, it wasn't some great foreign enemy that brought the Umayyads down. The empire had grown so big, so fast, that the internal stress, combined with bad leadership and inequality, just caused the whole thing to crumble from the inside out.
So when you look back, it's just this incredible whirlwind. In less than a century, they go from being one powerful family to ruling a global empire. They build monuments that last forever. They conquer continents. And then, in 750, it all comes crashing down in a massive, bloody revolution.
And the story of the Umayyads really leaves us with this huge question, one that still feels incredibly relevant today. Their policy of putting one group above all others helped them unite their core followers, sure, but it ended up alienating the millions of diverse people they ruled. It forces us to ask, what truly holds a society together? Is it forcing a single dominant identity on everyone, or is it finding strength by embracing all of its different parts?